Hey guys, welcome to a special episode of the Booth Review. It's special because I'm here without my partner in crime, Ari. She did not see this movie with me, the one I'm about to talk to you about. Unfortunately for her, because it's one of the best movies of the year, one of the best movies I've seen in years, honestly. And that movie is called Waves. So Waves is about this family from South Florida, and it's about their journey, essentially going through life after a tragedy has happened. And this tragedy actually only it takes place essentially in the middle of the movie, and it's one of the most compelling and one of the best things I've seen this year. This movie Waves is directed by, and I think he wrote it as well, Trey Edward Schultz. And Trey Edward Schultz is somebody you're probably going to hear a little bit more of, as we should be, because his direction in this and the things he does with the camera are some stuff I haven't really seen anyone else do. And it's fantastic. It's simply fantastic. In the roles we have Kelvin Harrison Jr. is also a young actor you'll hear more about as well, playing Tyler. His father is being played by Sterling Kane Brown, who a lot of you would know from the O.J. Simpson trials that were on FX, or This Is Us, which is on NBC. But he's making his turn in movies now, and he was phenomenal in his playing the father. And Tyler's sister, Calvin Harrison Jr., the actor, his sister in this movie is played by Taylor Russell, and her name is Emily, and she's fantastic in this movie as well. And so what we have here, it's kind of really hard for me to talk about without going crazy, because this movie is just exceptionally well done, and it did not get enough recognition at all anywhere. It didn't even make $2 million in the box office. And for a movie that actually had a legitimate star in it, Sterling K. Brown, you would think that there would have been more buzz behind it, but unfortunately there wasn't, and it didn't get the bump that it needed either this award season when it should have, because it's fantastic. So how this movie plays, it's essentially two movies, if you will. So this family, and we have Calvin Harrison Jr.'s character Tyler. Tyler is a young high school kid. He's in wrestling. He's one of the better ones on the team. He's doing really well, and he's getting pushed a little bit by Sterling King Brown's character, his father Ronald, and he's getting pushed because he wants him to know that he has all this potential, and he's just basically being a father. It's a little harsh and stern at times, and sometimes a little terrifying, which I think is quite good actually, because Sterling King Brown brings this father type thing really emotionally in this. Like, you would recognize this character from probably your own fathers, really, and some of the stuff that he does. And what he's trying to do is just tell his son, and motivate his children, his daughter as well, that to go through life and make sure they're the best that they can be. And his son, Tyler, goes through some things that just derails everything that he's trying to do, and trying to be a better person. And there is just some stuff that goes through. He has a girlfriend in this movie as well, Alexis Lopez. She's played by Alexa Demi, and you might recognize her from the show Euphoria on HBO. Their chemistry together too, by the way, was fantastic. But they go through something together as well, and it kind of pushes him over the edge. And everything that happens with those two, and then being the weight of his father being kind of right over his shoulder and everything, it pushes him to the edge, and he does something that he doesn't want to do, and then it leads to this tragic event right in the middle of the movie. And I won't tell you what it is, because it's one of the most shocking things I've seen in a while, especially this year. And that first part of that movie was as compelling as anything that's been on screen this year. I was fixated. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. And you're in a movie theater, you can't do that anyways. But man, did it draw me in. The acting is phenomenal. Calvin Harrison Jr., who plays Tyler, the high school kid, the son, is a different level. I mean, I think he should have been nominated. I actually think all three, the father, Sterling K. Brown, Calvin Harrison Jr., and the sister, who I'll get to in a second, Taylor Russell, should have been nominated, honestly. Um, but his art, his story that leads to that tragic event, man, it's heavy. It's really heavy, and you just don't know what to do with yourself when it happens. And that's kind of where the second half of the movie takes place. So the second half of this movie is essentially them going through the workings of what just happened, how it affects this family. It's particularly the sister. So the first half is more about the brother, Tyler, and how his story. And then the second half of the movie is how it affects everybody, but particularly the sister. And her story then takes over the second half of this movie and everything, with all the events that led to it, and going over the shock and the grief and some other things that she goes through to deal with what just happened to her family. And it's just an absolutely stunning piece of work this movie is. The cinematography is phenomenal. The lighting, there is a scene, and it's like a dance scene, essentially, a party scene. And the camera, and we talk about one takes, and I love one takes, and this camera doesn't leave the brother, and it goes and it works around and everything, and it's just, whoo, it's really good. I really loved it. Um, it's just a really well done movie. The second half it's more somber and maybe a little slower for some, because the first half kind of has like this energy to it, and then the energy calms down a little bit. But it's part of what you want to feel, that because when you're watching this, you're feeling like you're a part of the family, so you kind of would feel the same way, you would react the same way, really, as what just happened in the middle of the movie. Excuse me, that would just you would just feel everything about it. The music in this movie, the soundtrack is fun. It's one of the best soundtracks of the year. It has some current tracks and some a little older, but it's one of the best soundtracks of the year. I highly recommend it. If once you watch the movie, you're probably gonna love it anyway, so you're probably gonna look for it. And then the score, which is actually done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. So you might recognize Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails. But him and Atticus Ross, they both did the score for The Social Network, which was done earlier in the decade. And they won an Academy Award for that. This might be their best work since then. And they've done some things since then. They recently did the score for the Watchmen series on HBO. But this might be the best thing they've done since then. And it's phenomenal. It's one of my favorites of the year. The entirety of this movie is just spectacular. There's nothing that I can think of that I would put as a flaw, really, because and I understand there, when people that I've read that did watch this movie, they kind of were divisive a little bit about how like I said, it's kind of splits the storylines and how you feel and all the energy that happens in the first act to this point, to this climax, to this event that happens in the center of the movie, essentially, and then the somberness and how it calms down in the second half. But if you get into it and you feel with this family, and you should really, it hits home, and it's everything I didn't expect it to be, and it's quite fantastic. And I hope you guys give it a look. It comes out February 4th, so Tuesday, February 4th. It'll be available for you to rent or own, and I cannot recommend this movie enough. I hope you guys catch it, and hopefully for the next one, Ari and I will get back to our Oscar stuff, and you guys can keep watching that. But please, watch this movie. I almost want to beg you to watch this movie. It's so good. But don't forget to hopefully like and subscribe this video and everything. You guys are great. We love hearing from you guys. Please comment. And you guys we love doing this, and we hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we're doing it. And please, for the love of God, watch this movie. Thanks, guys.